Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So, we got a lot going on in this shop. It just kind of occurred to me standing here looking at all these cars. And the days and the weeks and the months go by so fast. We're doing pretty good here. So this Cowlick car, as many of you guys know, has been pretty much a complete restoration here. Everything, paint, body, interior, engine, transmission, suspension, etc. We are just over 1 year into it, and the car's basically done. So yeah, we're trying to stick to our goal of doing complete restorations in a year. This one's been a little bit longer, but those of you know this bus is just a weird bus that likes to fight us. But yeah, for the most part, we're doing complete restorations in a year, including everything. And projects with less than everything, we do quicker. So anyway, what about today? So today, Rafa continued to work on the barn door here. And I believe he got dark down in there. I forgot to bring a light with me, but I think he got all the pedal assemblies all back in. So clutch, throttle, and brake. And they're a little complicated on these right-hand drive buses because there's a lot of extra kind of, levers and linkages and stuff like that to get them to work because they're pretty much designed to be left-hand drive. So the right-hand drive stuff is like a bit of an afterthought or almost like adapters in some way to, at least in part, to get them to work. But yeah, so he spent a good portion of the day working on that stuff, and it's coming along good. And he had gone through the steering box and restored it, at least cosmetically. Mechanically, it was in really good shape, so he cleaned it all out, re-greased it, and stuff like that. So it's back in now. And I think there may have been a few other random things that he was doing up underneath there. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Big job putting all that stuff together, by the way. And a lot of it, or all of that stuff had been powder coated, but then, had to go and clean it and stuff like that. The bearing surfaces and stuff like that. So it always takes longer than you would think it would. And then if you've actually done it before, you understand. But yeah, that was most of Rafa's day. So for me, what I did today is spent the morning on the bitch and cowlick car here. And for some reason, after we had this door off, which is the one that we did some paint touch up in the hinge areas, this window got super hard to roll up and down. I was afraid that I was going to break the knob off the window winder. It was like ridiculously hard. And so the only thing I could think is that during the process of sanding it and prepping it and stuff like that is enough like sanding dust got down into there and managed to get into the window regulator that the window regulator was like almost like it had sand in it or something, honestly, all that sanding particles. And so I pulled out the window regulator and I cleaned it very thoroughly and re-greased it, and now the window goes up and down really nice, actually, which is how it was before. So that's the only thing I could think of. I mean, nothing else has changed. It's pretty much like when this door, when we put it back on after paint, all of a sudden that window was just really, really hard. So yeah, I had to pull it off today, or pull it apart and take care of that. But now, yeah, it works great. So that was one of the little things on my to-do list for this car. I think that's mainly what I did on this car today. Ran a bunch of errands, which of course is not interesting to talk about, but again, it's part of keeping cars moving forward. So for this guy, I brought a huge batch of stuff over to zinc plating and dropped it off. I think I showed you the big bag of stuff I had for it. And then another smaller bag was zinc plating for the mouse gray bus hiding back there. So, yeah, I'm running some errands today. And then I spent the rest of the day working on this beauty here and a couple of, big-ish things. So one is that I got a shift coupler, bought a billet shift coupler from Brian over at Washburn and installed it. I'm not going to crawl under there and show it to you, but it's about right there, in there somewhere. And went over and saw our friends at the world famous, and world famous for a reason, Jeanberg Enterprises, and picked this beauty up. So look at that. That is a nice short throw for a bus. Let's see if I can get it in reverse. Well, probably need to adjust a little bit more. I just kind of put it in there. Yeah, there's reverse right there. But yeah, nice short throw, very precise, and looks killer. Stock shifter just would have looked weird in this very custom hot rod bus, and it would have been annoying to drive because the throw on those things is like a foot in every direction. So yeah, a little upgrade there. And then the other thing that I did was I got his beautiful steering wheel, which he had, I don't know who painted it, but they did a really nice job. But the teeth in the spline, let's see if I can show this better here. The teeth in there were, it's not really going to focus on it the way that I'm wanting it to. Anyway, the teeth in there were just all beat up looking, and I couldn't really get the steering wheel to go down onto the male spline here. So I spent some time with a file and literally like went over each spline tooth in here and basically fixed them to the point where it now slides on here correctly. And then just spent some time making sure I had all the little bits and pieces that I need, the spring, the nut, all that good stuff. So I think tomorrow, a couple things. One is I'm going to finally, for real, screw this in. So it's got its one screw in each corner. And I got a brake warning light today from Brian Roth. So thanks to him for being willing to sell me that. And then I also from Eddie picked up, I don't know if I showed these yesterday or honestly, days are all kind of running together, but I got the levers. Actually, I got these today. So I got the levers for the heat and fresh air control here. So those knobs will be here for the heater and the fresh air. So those will go in tomorrow. And then this will finally get bolted in for real. One last detail is I need the speedometer cable, and then this will go in. And it's supposed to get the speedometer cable tomorrow. This will go in, and the steering wheel can go on. And then I think at that point, the front of this thing is also ready to put wheels and tires on. The back is ready. So hopefully, we'll see, not making any promises, but hopefully this thing is going to be sitting on its own feet tomorrow, which is pretty exciting, actually. Huge milestone for this truck. Another little thing I did today was that I don't know why, but for some reason, the hardware here that was holding the front beam to the chassis, these bolts were all rusty. I don't know, I guess they were maybe just original unrestored ones. But anyway, Wolfsburg West sells nice, correct bolts. So I pulled out the rusty ones, which were really hard to get out, by the way, and then put in new fresh ones, even though pretty much no one will ever see that. We still don't want any rusty, ugly bolts on a bus this gorgeous, because, I mean, look at this thing. So freaking nice. And then I put his horn on, you know, little things, but all things that need to be done nonetheless. So yeah, just kind of like crawling around this bus looking for little things that need to be done and then doing them here. So yeah, hopefully when I film this video tomorrow, this thing will be sitting on its feet. We'll see. Not seeing any big impediments to that, so stay tuned. I think that's actually it for today, guys. So kind of a short-ish episode, but that's basically what happened today. So with that, I will see you guys again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye.